Welcome to the SDE Professional Development, Human Trafficking, brought to you by Kayamishi Tech's Workforce and Economic Development. In this video, we will cover: what is human trafficking? 3 types of human trafficking. Misconceptions of human trafficking. Indicators of human trafficking. Reporting human trafficking. What is human trafficking? The unlawful act of transporting or coercing people in order to benefit from their work or service, typically in the form of forced labor or sexual exploitation. According to the International Labor Organization, human trafficking is the second largest criminal activity in the world and is a $150 billion a year industry. 3 types of human trafficking. Sex trafficking of adults and labor trafficking of adults and children occurs when force, fraud, or coercion are used to engage a person in commercial sex acts or labor. Sex trafficking of minors occurs when minors are compelled in any way to perform a commercial sex act. Labor trafficking is defined as the recruitment, harboring, transportation, provisions, or obtaining of persons for labor or services using force, fraud, or coercion for the purpose of subjection to involuntary servitude, peonage, debt bondage, or slavery. Labor trafficking is the most prevalent type of human trafficking. Domestic servitude pertains to the economic sectors that profit most from human trafficking, from agriculture, restaurants, manufacturing, domestic work, entertainment, hospitality, and the commercial sex industry. Misconceptions of human trafficking. Human trafficking happens mostly in other countries or to people who are brought to the U.S. from other nations. This misconception ignores the fact that human trafficking, both sex and labor trafficking, take place in Oklahoma cities, suburbs, and rural areas, and that Americans, too, are victims of this crime. Many Oklahomans believe that only children are victims of human trafficking. However, many current adults who are trapped in human trafficking were first exploited as children, often by their mothers or fathers. Often lacking education, employment history, and/or severe physical and psychological traumas, these individuals tend to face enormous barriers to exiting human trafficking in order to start different lives. We must also acknowledge that adults can become victims of the crime of human trafficking. This happens when a trafficker uses force, fraud, or coercion, often targeting someone in a desperate or vulnerable situation, to compel them to perform labor or commercial sex acts. Another common misconception is that most victims' entries into human trafficking occur through random abductions from front yards or big box store parking lots. This misconception dangerously ignores a far more common tactic that reaches potential victims right in their homes: recruitment through the internet. It is far more efficient and effective for traffickers to recruit many people at a time, using social media and apps to create a false friendship or romance, or to make false promises and job offers. Finally, the misconception that Oklahoma has a human trafficking problem because of our highway system, forming the nation's crossroads, continues to pervade our state. The truth is, many other states in the country say the exact same thing about their own highway systems. This misconception ignores the fact that for many human trafficking victims in Oklahoma, traveling on the highway system was never a part of their experience. Many were born and/or grew up in Oklahoma, were trafficked right here in Oklahoma, and were purchased by Oklahomans, often without leaving the state or even their hometowns. Indicators of human trafficking. Recognizing key indicators of human trafficking is the first step in identifying victims and can help save a life. Here are some common indicators to help recognize human trafficking. Not all indicators listed in the next slide are present in every human trafficking situation, and the presence or absence of any of the indicators is not necessarily proof of human trafficking. Does the person appear disconnected from family, friends, community organizations, or houses of worship? Has a child stopped attending school? Has the person had a sudden or dramatic change in behavior? Is a juvenile engaged in commercial sex acts? Is the person disoriented or confused, or showing signs of mental or physical abuse? Does the person have bruises in various stages of healing? Is the person fearful, timid, or submissive? Does the person show signs of having been denied food, water, sleep, or medical care? Is the person often in the company of someone to whom he or she defers every decision? Or someone who seems to be in control of the situation, example, where they go or who they talk to? Does the person appear to be coached on what to say? Is the person living in unsuitable conditions? Does the person lack personal possessions and appear not to have a stable living situation? Does the person have freedom of movement? Can the person freely leave where they live? Are there unreasonable security measures? If you or someone you know is in immediate danger, please call 911. Follow your school's procedures and protocols. If you believe you may have information about a trafficking situation, call the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 1-888-373-7888. Anti-trafficking hotline advocates are available 24/7 to take reports of potential human trafficking. Text the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 233-733. Or chat the National Human Trafficking Hotline.